Long ago, the leaders of the galaxy met in a large council. They came from many alien worlds. They believed peace was the most important thing. They thought humans were too dangerous. Humans grew fast, built fast, and fought even faster. Some council members were afraid of what humans could become. After many meetings, they made a decision. They would send humans far away to the edge of the galaxy. They said it was to keep peace, but it felt like punishment. Earth and its colonies were given little time. Human ships were forced to leave Union space. They were not allowed to return. Many ships were old and damaged. Supplies were low. Many people cried as they left their homes. The journey was long and hard. Some ships did not make it. Others landed on strange, cold worlds with no food or water. One of the young officers sent away was named Luke Carter. He had served in Earth's Defense Force. He believed in honor and duty. On his ship, he met Ava Brooks. She was a smart engineer. She knew how to fix anything and build new machines. Together, they helped their people survive. They landed on a small planet full of rock and ice. It was not safe, but it was better than nothing. Other human ships came too. They joined together and built shelters. They shared food and tools. At first, life was very hard. The wind was strong, and the nights were freezing. Many people got sick. But Ava made new heating systems, and Luke organized the people. Slowly, things got better. They called their new home the Exile Zone. They called their group the Coalition of Exiles. They made rules to keep peace. They worked every day to make life better. They built farms, machines, and small ships. They mined asteroids nearby to find metal and fuel. Years passed. Children were born who had never seen Earth. The people grew stronger. They learned to live without the help of the Galactic Union. In fact, they no longer trusted the Union at all. Luke trained young fighters to protect their homes. Ava taught students to build and invent. Other leaders rose, but Luke and Ava remained at the center. They met other outcasts too. Some were aliens who had also been pushed away. A few were robots with no home. The humans welcomed them. They believed that anyone who worked hard and lived with honor could join their new society. One day, a group of space pirates attacked a small mining camp. They thought the humans were weak, but they were wrong. Luke sent 3 fast ships to help. They fought hard and won. The camp was saved. After that, people across the Exile Zone knew that they were not weak anymore. Ava began working on something new. She wanted to build a city in space. Not just any city, but one that moved and could protect others. It would have farms, schools, and factories. People laughed at first, but then she showed her plans. With help from many, the first city ship was built. They named it Hope's Reach. Luke and Ava stood on the bridge of Hope's Reach as it moved through the stars. They looked at the people working, children learning, and families smiling. This was not the end of humanity. This was a new beginning. Far away, the Galactic Union forgot about the humans. They believed humans were lost. They believed they would never return. But in the dark edge of space, something powerful was growing. A people who had been banished were becoming strong. They were not angry. They were not seeking revenge. They were building something better. And one day, the galaxy would see what they had become. Years passed since humans were forced to live on the edge of the galaxy. The small groups of survivors became strong. The Coalition of Exiles changed its name to the Human Frontier. The cities grew larger. The ships grew faster and stronger. The people learned to fight and build better machines. Luke Carter was no longer a young officer. He was a leader now. He trained new fighters to protect their homes. Ava Brooks was no longer just an engineer. She was the head of a team building new weapons and ships. They worked day and night to make the human frontier stronger. The humans did not stay alone. They met others who were also cast out by the Galactic Union. These included robots without a home, alien species rejected by their own governments, and some who wanted to live free from the strict laws of the Union. The humans welcomed all of them. Together they built new cities in space and on planets. They traded with each other and helped each other. This made them stronger, Luke said. We are not just surviving. We are building an empire. One day, pirates attacked a colony in the human frontier. The pirates thought they could take easy money. They were wrong. Luke sent his fleet quickly to help. The pirates were defeated. The people of the human frontier cheered. They knew they could protect their homes. Ava worked on new technology. She made ships that could move faster than any others in the galaxy. She also helped make weapons that could stop any attack. She said, "Our strength is our unity and our skill." The news of the human frontier's power spread. Planets once under the control of the Galactic Union began to ask to join the humans. They wanted protection and freedom. The human empire was growing. Luke and Ava led a council to guide the new empire. They wanted the empire to be fair. They wanted peace, but they would fight if needed. Ava said, "We will show the galaxy that strength and peace can live together." The Galactic Union watched from afar. They grew worried. They sent patrols near the human frontier's borders, but many of these patrols disappeared. No one knew what happened to them. The humans did not hide. They built more ships and trained more fighters. They prepared for what might come. Luke said, "We have been forgotten. Now it is time to be remembered." Luke stood inside the command tower of Ironhold Station. It was the largest base built by the human empire. The station floated above a gas giant in the Chiron system. Ships flew in and out like busy insects. Engineers and soldiers worked all day and night. Luke watched them with pride. This was the result of years of struggle. Ava walked beside him, holding a small screen. Her team had just finished testing a new weapon. It was a rail cannon that could hit a target across an entire system. It could not be stopped by shields. "This will protect our borders," she said. "If they come, they will feel it." Luke nodded. "It is not just about power. It is about showing we will not be pushed again." The human empire had grown. More systems had joined them. They did not use fear to rule. They offered safety, freedom, and fair trade. Many alien groups saw the value in joining the humans. The empire became a mix of species, all working side by side. Factories ran on moons. Farms grew in space domes. Schools taught both history and science, but danger was close. One morning, a warning came from a listening post near the border. A Galactic Union fleet had entered the neutral zone. 10 warships moved toward a small colony named Red Haven. It was a new world with young families and farms. The people had no weapons. Luke called a meeting with the council. The members were human, robot, and alien. They talked about peace, but also about how the Union had exiled them long ago. Ava stood up and said, "They want to remind us that we are still outsiders. We must remind them that we are not." The fleet was sent. 40 ships from the human navy moved fast toward Red Haven. At the front was the Iron Blade, the flagship. It was large, black, and silent in space. Luke was on board, standing by the window as stars flew past. "We will not fire first," he said to his crew. "But we will not run." The human fleet reached Red Haven before the Union ships arrived. They made a wall around the colony. Small fighters flew in formation above the farms. Civilians watched. From the ground, afraid but hopeful, the Union ships stopped at the edge of the system. A message came from their leader. His name was High Captain Sorvan. He was old and cold. His face showed no feeling. "You have grown without permission," he said. "You must return these systems to the Union," Luke replied. "We were thrown away. We survived. These people are free. We will not leave, and we will not kneel." There was silence. Then Sorvan spoke again. "Then you will be destroyed." Ava gave the signal. The new rail cannon on Ironhold Station locked onto the Union flagship. It was far away, but the cannon fired with a silent flash. The shot traveled across the void and hit Sorvan's ship. The shield cracked, and the front of the ship burned. The Union ships turned and began to fire. The battle had begun. The humans fought hard. Their ships were smaller but faster. Their weapons were newer. Fighters danced between enemy cruisers. Missiles tracked targets and hit without mercy. Ava watched the data from her screen. "Hold the line," she whispered. On the ground, the people of Red Haven watched lights in the sky. The battle looked like stars exploding. Children held there. Parents, soldiers guarded the city's edge. After hours of fighting, the Union ships began to fall back. 3 of them were destroyed. The rest turned and ran. Luke did not chase. He sent a message. "Let this be a lesson. We do not start wars, but we finish them." The people of Red Haven cheered. Across the human empire, news of the victory spread. More systems asked to join. Even some Union worlds sent messages in secret. They wanted freedom. They wanted to be part of something new. Ava stood beside Luke as they looked at the stars again. "They will come back," she said. "I know," he said, "but next time we will be even stronger." The Galactic Union could no longer ignore the humans. After the loss at Red Haven, their pride was broken. Union leaders gathered in their Grand Council Hall. The hall was full of alien voices, some calm and others full of fear. The oldest member, Chancellor Vaylor, slammed his hand on the table. "They were meant to fade into dust," he said. "But now they grow like fire in dry grass. They must be stopped." A plan was made. The Union would send its largest fleet yet to crush the human empire. They would end this threat before it grew larger, far from the Union, in the heart of human space. Luke, Carter, and Ava Brooks prepared their people. They knew this war was coming. Luke stood before his generals and spoke. "This is not just about survival. This is about showing the galaxy who we are. If we fail, they will burn everything we built. But if we stand, we will light the stars with our victory." Ava was in the engineering bay of Hope's Reach. She oversaw the creation of new warships. These ships were faster and stronger than anything the Union had. Each ship had shields that could take heavy damage and weapons that could punch through enemy armor. Ava looked at her workers and said, "Every bolt and wire you place today saves lives tomorrow." The Union fleet moved into human space like a dark wave. Hundreds of ships advanced toward the Tarsis Rift, a system rich in resources. They planned to use it as a base for their invasion. Luke sent Commander Riley Shaw with a fleet to meet them. Riley was young but clever. He believed speed and surprise were the keys to winning. His fleet of 60 ships moved. Like a blade cutting through the void, the two fleets met at the edge of the Tarsis Rift. Union ships outnumbered Riley's 2-1. The Union commander sent a message: "Surrender now, and we will let your civilians live." Riley answered with a calm voice: "You will find no surrender here. Turn back, or you will be destroyed." The battle began. Human fighters zipped between the larger Union cruisers. Missiles fired in all directions. Explosions lit the darkness like dying stars. Riley's fleet worked like one mind, each ship protecting the others. The Union pushed forward with brute force, but their tactics were old. Human ships used new AI systems that predicted enemy movements. Riley outsmarted them at every turn. When the Union flagship moved to flank the human fleet, Riley's ships vanished into a cloud of gas, only to strike from behind moments later. By the end of the battle, the Union had lost half their ships. The survivors fled back toward their own space. The humans had won again. Back on Hope's Reach, news of the victory brought cheers. But Ava did not smile. She knew the Union would not stop. She said to Luke, "They are testing us. The next attack will be larger." Luke nodded. "Then we will grow larger too." In the weeks that followed, more alien systems left the Union and joined the human empire. Some came willingly. Others rebelled against Union rule and asked for help. Human fleets moved quickly, protecting new allies and striking at Union bases. The Galactic Union was falling apart. Refugees fled to human space, seeking safety. The Union leaders grew desperate. They sent spies and assassins to kill human leaders, but none succeeded. The Empire's security forces were too strong. Ava worked on a final project. She called it Guardian. It was a massive station with weapons strong enough to hold back any fleet. When Guardian was finished, it would be the heart of the Empire's defense. As Guardian neared completion, the largest Union fleet ever seen appeared at the edge of human space. It was led by Chancellor Vaylor himself. Luke stood on the bridge of the Iron Blade and watched the enemy ships gather. "This is the moment we were banished for," he said. "They feared what we might become. Now they will see." The human empire stood ready as the largest Union fleet entered their space. Ships darkened the stars as they moved toward Guardian Station. It was a battle that would decide the future of the galaxy. Luke Carter watched from the command deck. Of the Iron Blade, he could see the endless lines of Union ships, their weapons charged with deadly energy, yet he felt no fear. "We are no longer the exiles they cast out," he said. "We are the rulers of the stars." Ava Brooks stood in Guardian Station's control room. Her fingers moved across glowing panels as she activated the station's defenses. Giant rail cannons turned toward the enemy. Energy shields hummed as they came to life. "Guardian will hold," she whispered. "It must hold." The Union fleet began its attack. Waves of fighters shot forward. Missiles streaked through space. Explosions lit the void. Human ships moved to intercept. Their formations were tight, their movements precise. AI systems calculated enemy moves and counted them before they could strike. Guardian Station fired its first rail cannon. The shot tore through 3 Union cruisers in one blast. The enemy tried to flank the station, but hidden turrets emerged from asteroids, cutting them down. Ava kept giving orders, her voice calm and steady. "Target their command ships. Break." their chain of command. Luke led a counterattack with the Iron Blade at the front. Human ships darted in and out of Union formations, striking hard and pulling away before the enemy could respond. The Union's older tactics failed against the faster and smarter human fleet. As the battle raged, Union ships began to falter. Their captains argued overcomes. Some ships turned to flee. Luke gave no orders to chase them. "Let them run," he said. "They will carry the message back. The age of the Union is over." By the end of the day, the Union fleet was broken. Wreckage floated in space. Fires burned on empty hulls. Human rescue ships moved in to save survivors, even Union soldiers. Luke had ordered no unnecessary killing. "We are not like them," he told his officers. "We will show mercy where." They showed none. Back on Guardian Station, Ava looked out over the fleet. The galaxy had changed forever. "It is done," she said quietly. "The Union is no more." In the weeks that followed, Union leaders surrendered. Many worlds chose to join the human empire. Others were left free to govern themselves. No one forced them. The empire's strength and fairness spoke louder than threats ever could. Luke refused to take the title of emperor. He called for a galactic assembly where all species would have a voice. Humans would guide, but not rule alone. "We were exiled because they feared our strength," he said. "Now we will use that strength to build peace." Ava turned her attention to rebuilding war-torn worlds. She sent engineers and teachers to planets that had known only war and neglect. Her outreach program became a symbol of hope across the stars. The galaxy entered a new age. It was not perfect. There were still dangers, still struggles, but where the Union had ruled with fear, the human empire built with courage and unity. Elias Varron, a former Union ambassador, wrote a history of these events. In it, he wrote, "Banished and forgotten, humanity rose from nothing. They built an empire not through terror, but through vision and resolve. They were not the monsters we feared, they were the leaders we needed." Luke stood with Ava on the observation deck of Hope's Reach. Children laughed as they ran through the city's glowing corridors. Ships lifted off for distant stars. "This is what we fought for," Ava said. "Yes," Luke agreed. "And this is only the beginning." The human empire was stronger than ever. It had grown across hundreds of star systems. The Galactic Assembly worked day and night to keep peace. Humans, aliens, and synthetic beings sat side by side to make decisions for the galaxy. But even in this new age, danger waited in the shadows. Luke Carter had grown older, but his mind was as sharp as ever. He walked through the hall of Guardian Station, watching fleets being prepared for patrol. "Peace is never easy," he said. To Commander Riley Shaw, who now led the human navy, "We must guard it every day, or it will slip away." Ava Brooks was also busy. She worked with a team of scientists on a strange signal coming from deep space. The signal was weak but constant. It came from beyond the known galaxy. Some believed it was natural, but Ava was not so sure. "This could be something more," she told Luke during a private meeting. "Something that has been watching us." Meanwhile, refugees continued to arrive from distant worlds. Some spoke of strange attacks. Whole colonies vanished without a trace. Ships disappeared without sending distress signals. Fear began to grow among the people. Was it pirates, or something worse? Luke sent scouts beyond the outer rim to investigate. One scout ship, the Horizon Light, sent back a chilling report before its signal was lost. The captain's last words were, "We are not alone. Something is here." The Galactic Assembly called an emergency meeting. Leaders from many species gathered to hear the reports. Some demanded that the Empire expand its fleets. Others feared that provoking the unknown would bring destruction. Ava spoke calmly. "We must learn what is out there. Knowledge is our best weapon," Luke agreed. "We will not wait for them to strike first. We will meet them on our terms." A new expedition was formed. The ship Pioneer 1 was built for the mission. It was the most advanced vessel ever created. It carried scientists, soldiers, and diplomats. Ava joined as chief engineer to oversee the ship's systems. Luke stayed behind but sent Riley Shaw to command the mission. As Pioneer 1 left human space, the galaxy watched in silence. Weeks passed with no word. Then, at the edge of the void, Pioneer 1 found something. A massive structure floated in the darkness. It was older than any known civilization. Its surface was covered in strange markings and energy fields. Ava studied the scans. "This is not a ship. It is a gateway." Pioneer 1 stayed trapped in the dark space near the alien fleet. The strange ships held their formation like predators waiting to strike. On the bridge, Commander Riley Shaw stood with his crew. Their weapons were armed, but no one dared to fire first. Ava Brooks worked non-stop in the ship's control room. She tried to break through the alien communication codes. Every message sent to the unknown fleet came back with the same answer: "You are not welcome. Return or be destroyed." "They are testing us," Ava said to Riley. "They want to see if we are weak." "We can't retreat," Riley replied. "If we run now, they'll come for us later." Back in human space, Luke Carter gathered the Human Empire's council. The leaders spoke with worried voices. Some wanted to recall Pioneer 1. Others wanted to prepare a massive fleet for war. Luke raised his hand for silence. "We have come too far to kneel again," he said. "We will send a message, not just to these strangers, but to the whole galaxy. Humanity will not back down." Luke ordered the first fleet to gather near the border. Hundreds of ships assembled, each one armed and ready. At the center was the Iron Blade, Luke's flagship. Meanwhile, on Pioneer 1, tension grew by the hour. The alien ships had blocked all escape routes. Their strange energy weapons glowed in the dark. Ava completed her translation work and sent a report to Guardian Station. "These are not explorers," she said in her message. "They call themselves the Erics. They claim to be guardians of this part of the galaxy. To them, we are trespassers. They believe they have the right to destroy us." The message reached Luke as the first fleet was preparing to move. He spoke calmly to the assembly. "The Erics may think they are the masters of this galaxy, but they do not know us. We were exiled and forgotten. Now we are stronger than ever. If they strike us, we will strike back harder." The first fleet jumped to Pioneer 1's location. Space lit up as hundreds of human ships appeared near the alien blockade. The humans formed a protective wall around Pioneer 1. The alien fleet turned to face them. For a moment, no one fired. The two forces stared at each other across the void. Then an alien voice came through all channels. "You have been warned. You will not survive this day." The alien ships moved. Their weapons fired streams of red energy that tore through space. But the human fleet was ready. Shields flared, and counterfire lit up the darkness. The battle had begun. Human fighters darted between the massive alien cruisers. Rail cannons fired from long range, punching holes in the enemy's armor. The Erics moved like a hive, their ships turning and striking as one. But the humans were faster, more creative. Ava's new AI systems helped predict enemy movements and gave the fleet an edge. Pioneer 1 joined the fight, using its advanced weapons to hold back smaller alien craft. Riley shouted orders, his voice steady even as enemy fire shook the ship. "We hold the line," he said. "This is where we make our stand." On the iron blade, Luke saw an opening in the enemy formation. "Focus all fire on their command ship," he ordered. "Break their chain, and the rest will fall." Human ships poured everything they had into the alien flagship. Missiles streaked forward, rail cannons roared, and energy beams struck the target. The alien ship's shields flickered and then shattered. With a final blast, the alien flagship exploded in a ball of fire. The rest of the Eric's fleet faltered. Some ships turned and fled into the dark. Others were destroyed by the human counterattack. When the battle ended, wreckage floated across the field. Human rescue ships moved to save survivors from both sides. Riley stood on Pioneer 1's bridge and spoke quietly. "We came as explorers, but they forced us to be warriors." Luke sent a message to all systems of the human empire. "We have faced the unknown and we have stood our ground. Let this be a warning to all who think to challenge us. Humanity is no longer weak. We are the light in the darkness." Ava stared at the stars from Pioneer 1. She knew this was not the end. If the Erics are only one power in the void, she said to herself, what else is out there watching us? The galaxy had changed again. The human empire had faced its first challenge from beyond and survived. But far across the stars, other eyes were opening. The galaxy was quiet, but it was not at peace. The human empire had won against the galactic Union and the Erics. Many worlds joined under their banner, hoping for safety and fairness. Trade grew. Cities sparkled on planets once thought dead. But far beyond known space, another threat stirred. Luke Carter spent his days at Guardian Station, watching reports come in from every corner of the Empire. He had grown older, and grey streaks marked his hair, but his eyes were still sharp. "Every victory brings new challenges," he told Ava Brooks during one meeting. "We must be ready." Ava was now the director of science and exploration. Her team had been studying strange signals from deep space. These signals came from regions so far no human ship had ever visited. "It is not natural," Ava said. "Something is out there. It has been watching us." Luke listened carefully. "Do you think they are coming?" "They may already be here," Ava replied. While the Empire's leaders debated, distant colonies began to disappear. Mining stations stopped sending messages. Patrol ships vanished without a trace. Survivors from one attack were brought back. To Hope's Reach, they spoke of black ships moving in silence and of strange machines tearing apart entire settlements. "They came without warning," one survivor said. "No message, no demand. They destroyed everything and left." The Galactic Assembly gathered to discuss these attacks. Leaders of many species argued. Some wanted to send more fleets. Others feared provoking a war they could not win. Luke stood before them and spoke. "Humanity was banished once and forgotten. But we did not fade. We rose. Now the galaxy needs us again. We cannot turn away. We will meet this threat head-on." A massive project began. Ava and her engineers built new warships stronger than any before. They called these ships the Vanguard class. Each one carried advanced weapons and shields. Luke gathered the best officers, and soldiers. Commander Riley Shaw was chosen to lead the first mission beyond known space. His ship, the Vanguard Dawn, would explore and find the enemy. "Do not seek war," Luke told him. "But if they bring it, show them the strength of the human empire." The Vanguard Dawn traveled for weeks into the void. At the edge of the galaxy, they found it. A vast fleet of black ships floated around a giant structure. It was not a station or a planet. It was a machine the size of a moon. Riley sent back a message. "We found them. They call themselves the Vyari, and they are preparing to invade." The Vanguard Dawn tried to open communication, but the Vyari did not respond. Instead, their ships moved to surround Riley's fleet. A single message came through. "You have spread too far. You are a disease. We will cleanse the stars." Riley ordered his fleet to retreat, but the Vyari attacked. The battle was quick and brutal. Human ships fought with skill and courage, but the enemy's weapons were unlike anything seen before. One Vanguard ship was cut in half by a beam of white light. Another vanished in an explosion that shook space itself. Riley sent one last message to Guardian Station. "We are holding as long as we can. Warn the Empire. The Vyari are coming." Back in human space, Luke listened to the message. With a heavy heart, he turned to Ava. "This is not just a war for survival. This is a war for the galaxy." Ava nodded. "Then we will fight for every world, every species, every future." The human empire began preparing for its greatest battle yet. Every shipyard worked day and night. Soldiers trained across hundreds of systems. Refugees flooded into human space, seeking safety. Luke spoke to the people of the Empire in a broadcast sent to every colony and station. His voice was steady, full of resolve. "The Vyari believe they can erase us. They believe they can erase all life that does not bow. To them, they are wrong. Humanity was cast out once and survived. Now we are the shield and the sword of the galaxy. We will not fail." The stars grew dark as the Vyari fleet moved closer. But in every human ship, every city, and every heart, there was no fear. There was only determination, and as the first battleships of the human empire gathered around Guardian Station, Luke looked into the endless night and whispered, "Let them come. We are ready."